They are the Golden Boy and the Cowboy, Jack Dawson and Dirty Harry. And now for the first time ever, Leonardo DiCaprio and Clint Eastwood are pooling their star power to make a big movie. Eastwood is in the director's chair, while DiCaprio portrays one of the most complicated figures ever to cross the American stage, a man with such unbelievable power, even Hollywood couldn't make it up. Here's my co-anchor Terry Moran with the Nightline interview.
Sitting across from the two of you, you're icons of Hollywood history. Is that hard to go to work together?
I just slap him up alongside the head in the morning.
And you got to take that because he's Clint Eastwood, right?
Clint Eastwood, Leonardo DiCaprio, two Hollywood icons who can make any movie they want.
I'm a fan.
They made J.Edgar.
But do you know what all the power of the Bureau of Investigation means without federal laws, without arms, without the ability to make arrests? It means nothing.
It's the story of J.Edgar Hoover, one of the most powerful and controversial men in American history, the feared founder of the FBI, who built the Bureau and ruled over it for nearly half a century.
The Federal Bureau of Investigation is as close to you as your nearest telephone.
He was there throughout all of it. 8 different presidents over 50 years in the same seat of power, longer than anyone has in the history of our government in that same position. I mean,
longer than Gaddafi.
Yeah, right.
Evil flourishes.
DiCaprio plays Hoover from his early youth. He was 23 when he joined what would become the FBI until his death in 1972.
It's an extraordinary transformation in this movie. You are wearing a lot of makeup. You look like an old man.
That was the intent, anyway.
I don't know whether he was emulating me, but he was did a great job of the way the older men walk, you know, and the whole carry.
You actually gave me a lot of advice the first day. Slower, son, slower. So you wouldn't get up out of your chair that quickly. I remember those notes.
In real life, J.Edgar Hoover was a contradiction. He made the FBI a premier investigative organization.
That man's record will be sent to the local police.
With innovations like fingerprint labs, analytic filing systems.
This man is wanted for murder.
Professional training for agents. But he was also a man of many secrets, public and private. He used the FBI to spy on everyone from Martin Luther King Jr. to Franklin Roosevelt and John F. Kennedy, amassing secret files he used to blackmail. In the movie, Hoover's shown presenting Attorney General Bobby Kennedy with extremely compromising wiretaps of his brother.
Oh, let him know that I have a copy of my own in safekeeping.
Growing up, and as a young man in the era of J. Edgar Hoover, what did you think of him?
As a kid, you know, everybody thought of him as the top cop.
Did you admire him?
I think so.
But Hoover had his own secrets. Many historians believe Hoover was a gay man in an era when that was unthinkable for a public figure. He never married and had a lifelong, remarkably close relationship with FBI Associate Director Clyde Tolson. They ate lunch and dinners together every day, vacationed together, and are buried within a few feet of each other.
Mr. Tolson, I need someone who I can trust. I want you to be my number 2 man. You understand? I need you.
I went in thinking this was going to be a movie about power and its use and abuse. And it felt to me at the end that it was almost a movie about love.
It's a love story between 2 men in a way, but it's, I didn't want to diminish it by making it just some sort of sexual attraction or something like that. It had to be much more substance to it than that.
I think the way Clint handled it in this movie was very tastefully done, because what it did reflect was people who had unrequited, I think, yearning to have that sort of connection with somebody else. But at the end of the day, they were protecting what was most important to them, and they were a reflection of their country.
What would you learn from Clint Eastwood?
A lot. He drives you to trust your own instincts. He really does. He sits there with his monitor and he looks at you and the other actors, and you feel like you got to speak the truth. And that's an absolute fact. He doesn't have a lot of people around him advising him or giving him second opinions about what he sees up on screen. And if he believes it, he moves on. If he doesn't, he makes his adjustments.
What did you like best about working with him?
I haven't the foggiest idea. I mean, I've worked with a lot of really good actors in my career, but none more diligent than he is, and more attentive to detail and creating the character.
The movie they've made is the kind of movie Hollywood used to make all the time. Big, ambitious, important, but not so much anymore. DiCaprio seems determined to carry on the great tradition and is even scornful of some of today's trends.
I say, here's a character. I can be of service to that. It moves me emotionally, and I never really have questioned that. I've often heard from many different people, you should try this genre, but to do a movie just for the sake of doing a romantic comedy or doing a science fiction film seems sort of a profound waste of time.
Next up for him, The Great Gatsby, another tortured, dodgy American icon in 3D.
And in some ways you were born to play Gatsby.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you and no thank you.
Right. Is that a compliment?
As for Clint Eastwood, at 81, he just keeps doing things his inimitable way.
One advantage to being a sort of a senior guy is what can they do to you? At some point in your life, you come to the point where if you're going to call yourself a film director or movie maker or whatever people call themselves, you've got to have some sort of vision and some sort of faith in that, and some sort of faith in your first instincts about things.
We need men willing to dedicate their lives. How many is that so far?
Eastwood and DiCaprio, Hollywood icons, trusting their instincts, taking risks, just like Hollywood used to.